Hi, welcome to the Theory Masterclass. We're starting from the beginning. We're going to go from scratch and build it all up. Let's check it out. Alright, I'm sure you've heard that in music we use this thing called a note. Well, anyways, these are the symbols called notes that we use to represent musical sound on paper. There's three parts to the note. There's the head, the stem, and the flag. But you can also notice, like this guy here, this note doesn't have a stem or a flag, and also it's hollow in the middle there. What's the deal with that? We'll talk about that later. This note, hollow in the middle, the note head, but then it has a stem, so it can be note head. The note head could be filled in or not, and then we could have a stem, or like this guy, same thing, stem, but the note head is filled in. Then over here, the note head, stem, and flag. We got all three parts. So you don't have to have it all three. You need, at a minimum, the note head. This is the most basic or simple looking symbol. And I'm going to use that one a lot just because it won't clutter up our music staff. Because yes, this is where we place our notes on the music staff. Pretty straightforward. Let's dive a little deeper into it here. So those notes are representing pitch on the staff. And as you can see, the staff is made up of these series of lines. And when the lines, each line here, it creates a space in between each other line. So it creates a series of like a line, a space, line, a space, line, space. And then when we look over here, on the diagram, well, this note, we say that it's inside of a space, and then this note over here is on top of a line. You see the line going through it. So that G has a line going through it. And then we go up. So each line and space, like I was saying, might have been saying before, but we're going to say it again, or for the first time here, is that we have the first 7 letters of the alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Once we use all 7 of those letters, we're going to start all over again, starting fresh from the letter A. So we see that here, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Thing is, though, is that we can see in this diagram, this line here that I've made a little more clear for us to see. It's the middle C line, but as we can see, there's way too many lines here. It's just too cluttered and hard to, how can I count with that many lines and know which, like it's got to be, that's an A, and how am I going to count up and know, oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like I lost count. I don't know what that note is. It's too hard to tell at a quick glance. So it might seem totally counterintuitive, but because that middle C line can be used by every voice, someone at some point just had an idea. Why don't we just completely get rid of that line? And whenever we need to use that middle C note, we'll just use a tiny little line. We'll pull it out when we need it. And it kind of creates this kind of bullseye right here. And it clears it up here, and now I can see 5 lines above, 5 lines below, and that's my bullseye middle C. It's just like perfect. Makes everything so easy to see now. So, the pitch of a note is how we describe how high or how low it sounds. So that was a high sound, and this is a low sound. And then we represent it higher up on the staff, higher the pitch, lower down, the lower the pitch. Each pitch, like I was saying before, gets its own letter name as we rise up the alphabet, starting at a new octave each time we get to the last letter G, and we start over on A. So that A, like I'm showing you over here, once I get to the next A up, we're going to call that an octave. It's 1 octave of A. If I go a little bit further, again, I'll get a 2nd octave of A. And then over here, well, we got 2 octaves of G. But again, we got that middle line there, and it's just way too cluttered and impossible to see. So this is what we do. And I've just really highlighted that so we can see that bullseye right in the middle for the middle C. Again, just appreciate how that little, we call this a ledger line. Whenever we take a note that is outside of the staff, we're going to use these ledger lines. We're going to talk about it a little bit later, a little more in depth. But yeah, that little line is what we call a ledger line. So just look at how much that cleans it up. Bullseye, middle C. Now I can see the middle C. Beautiful. So that basically concludes our first part of the theory masterclass. I'll see you on the next one.